Welcome to part four on my first episode on nature science. In this one, I'm just going to give you some examples of experiments that you could actually try at home. If you wanted to practice the scientific method, you go back and look at the video to make sure you're doing everything that you're supposed to, having your problem, making a hypothesis, your materials that you're listing, all the things you're going to use, the method that you're going to approach, step one, step two, step three, detailing what you're doing, and then some observations, and then finally concluding the answer to the original problem that you should, by the end of the experiment, know what the answer is, right? That's the goal. So I'll give you three examples of something you could try at home, all with materials that you have around the house. The first is about paper absorbency. So you could test the absorbency of paper towel or maybe toilet paper. If you had different types of things you could use, that would be awesome. The second is absorbency would be how much water you could soak up with those different items. The second one is about the bounciness of a sports ball. So maybe you have a soccer ball or a tennis ball that you could see what influences how high it bounces back, and measure that. The third one is about the flight of an elastic band. Oh yeah, I had a mental block there for a second. A flight of an elastic band. So if you have an elastic and you shoot it, how far does that elastic go? What causes it to go further or not as far? So the first thing you want to do with each of those problems is, I had the problems listed up there. The first thing you want to do is come up with a hypothesis, but before that even maybe list the variables that you think could influence your experiment. And then make sure that when you design your experiment, you're only testing one of those. So for example, when we used our ramp, right, to test, the masses, we kept the slope the same. We had them travel the exact same distance, sometimes beside each other, but we just changed the mass of these objects. That was the only thing that was changed. Everything else we kept the same, right? And so we want to do that in our experiment too. We're making sure that everything, all those variables are accounted for. So when we're talking about elastic band, there's lots of things that might cause the elastic band to go further. So keep everything the same, and then just vary one thing that you want to test, right? And when you write up your method, it should be repeatable. In other words, remember the idea of science is that we now can have other people do it. Galileo said, "I don't care if you believe me. I want you to believe it by trying it." So you should write your experiment so that someone could repeat it exactly as you have done. So you could try that too. You could get your sibling or your mom or dad or somebody, to a friend, to repeat this exact same experiment, do the exact same thing you did, to see if they get the same results. And when they're doing that, even while you're doing it, sometimes you realize that I didn't give very good instructions, and that's a really important part. In other words, I may have said, take a piece of paper towel, but my mom repeats it and she uses a different size paper towel than I did. I meant like an exact, you know, 20 centimeters by 30 centimeter piece or whatever it was that I'm going to use. So I want to try to be very specific so that someone who's reading it can do exactly what I did, and then ideally, like Galileo, get the exact same results that I did, and then therefore the same conclusion that I got. Right? So there's some ideas for you to try at home, if you'd like, and give me some feedback if you have other ideas. Love to hear it.